Today, in Summer City, justice always has the right of way. A mysterious stranger speedwalks into the lives of the residents and changes them forever. This is the Pedestrian #1.
I'm a geek. I use my bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me. I'm a geek.
Hello there, Comic Clan, and welcome to Comics in the Cross, the greatest YouTubers you've never heard of. I am Cross, and today we are looking at the Pedestrian #1 coming from Magma Comics. This is a comic I had no idea about. I had not heard about this until it officially dropped last week. But I am super excited to be checking it out. I've seen a bunch of comic creators praising it online. I've seen a bunch of comic creators talking about it, and I felt like it was one I had to get. Massive shout out to Magma Comics, as I did reach out to them and they sent me a copy of this for us to review. So a massive shout out and a massive thank you to Magma for that. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm greatly appreciated to dive in and tell you all about this comic that's got a bunch of people talking. But before we get started today, if you do like the content here at Comics in the Cross, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future content from us and catch all our upcoming reviews in the future. And also, if you can hit that like button, as it really helps us out in the YouTube algorithm, we would greatly appreciate it. But let's dive in. The Pedestrian #1 is written by Joey Esposito, with artwork from Shawn Gorman. Colouring is done by Jensen and lettering from Shawn Lee. Our issue begins at night in Summer City. We see a young woman, Kira, closing up shop at the clothing store where she works and beginning to make her way home, walking home in the dark streets. She thinks and she reminisces to herself about the life that she leads and the life that she wanted to lead. She thinks about how she wanted to go and join an art collective and wanted to go and make something of her life, and now she feels stuck, trapped in Summer City and working 3 jobs and still not able to pay rent in the room that she shares with 2 roommates. As she continues walking down the empty street, a dark hooded figure starts to follow Kira. He gets quicker and quicker and closer to her. He then reaches out to try and grab her, and then right as he's about to make contact, right at the last second, he is tripped and falls to the ground. The attacker turns to look up and sees standing over him a man in a full body costume made of white spandex and a pair of goggles, looking down at him, with a walk sign from a pedestrian crossing emblazoned on his chest. The attacker gets back to his feet and makes a run for it, but our would-be hero is in hot pursuit, following right after him. That is until they come to a crosswalk, and the crosswalk signal changes to don't walk. Our attacker makes it across the street and runs off while our hero stands and waits on the sidewalk. Kira collects herself and goes up to him and asks why he doesn't just go after the attacker. It's late at night, there's no cars coming, it's not like there's anyone there, why doesn't he just keep going? But he stands there in silence. She then changes tact and tries to thank him for stepping in and saving her. Again, he stands there in dead silence, not saying a word, not moving, until the crosswalk signal changes again and says that he can walk, and then he speedwalks away and continues on. We see our heroic speedwalker sitting at home on the sofa, watching television, and sees Kira talking to a news reporter telling them about what happened tonight. As he flips through the channels, he looks down at a wallet that he grabbed off of the attacker. As he opens it, he finds a driver's license with the name on it reading James Tucker. The following morning, we start off at Summer City Police Department, and we see Detective Sherwood being brought a case file by one of her colleagues, Becker. The file is on a snatch and grab attempt from the previous night. Sherwood's not too interested in the file, at least not at first. That is until she finds out that it's only an attempted snatch and grab because of a Good Samaritan that intervened on behalf of the attackee. And although she didn't see who the attacker was, they also got a tip this morning, stating that James Tucker was the person that they were looking for. As Detective Sherwood looks over the file, we see her in her monologue. She starts to reminisce on the city of Summer City as well. She thinks that when you're younger and grow up here that either you realise this place is cursed, that it's not a good place to stay and you get out of there as fast as you can and don't come back, or you end up staying and get sucked up into it all. We then see her pulling out a sketch pad, an artist's pad from a witness statement. It's in her desk and she looks at it. And we see her looking at our hero, the speedwalking hero that we've come to know. And she seems to wonder if the Good Samaritan just so happens to be him. We then get to take a look at James Tucker's life. We see him struggling at an entry-level job for minimum wage, dealing with awful customers, shouting abuse at him and complaining to his manager, who then comes and tells him off for having done a poor job. Well, he thinks to himself about how the previous night went so horribly wrong, how he lost his wallet, and wonders how in the world he's going to earn enough money to take care of his child that's on the way. He starts to wonder if his dad was right and he's really just stuck in this position because the whole system is rigged. He decides to walk home and order a pizza for dinner that evening. But before the pizza can get anywhere near his door, he hears a knock and goes to answer. James Tucker opens his door and he doesn't have a pizza waiting for him. Instead, he sees our speed-walking costumed hero standing there, holding his wallet, and is holding it out to him. James is stunned and doesn't know what to do, and takes the wallet from his hand and asks him, aren't you going to arrest me, or take me in, or anything like that? And in his usual form, our hero doesn't say anything. He just turns and begins to speed walk away. James closes the door and is grateful, thinks he's managed to get off with nothing happening. But unbeknownst to him, he hasn't. Another knock comes to the door, and as he looks through the people, he sees Detective Sherwood holding her badge up and asking him to talk. His face drops, knowing that this time he's screwed. Meanwhile, outside of James's apartment, we see a pizza delivery driver on her way to bring him the pizza that he ordered. We get a little bit of her internal monologue that she's a pre-med student, but kind of like everyone else in Summer City, she seems to have got trapped here and stuck in this same cycle and not able to escape the city itself. She recognises the name on the pizza and recognises James from school as someone that she used to know, at least in passing, not in any great length, and really didn't look forward to interacting with him tonight. As she pulls up outside the building, she begins to try and parallel park, and back herself into a parking spot. When she starts to struggle, a certain hero in a white costume steps up and starts to guide her back into the space, and helps her reverse successfully and make it all the way in. But before she's even out the car and able to give a thank you, he's already gone and started making his way. She heads on inside to drop off the pizza, knocks at the door, and there's no answer. Honestly, she seems kind of grateful, and is glad that she didn't have to interact with James. But as she makes her way back down to her car, everything isn't quite as it seems. As she exits the building, all of a sudden there's a figure standing behind her. A figure wearing a full-body black suit. And unlike her hero, this suit has its face covered. And whoever is wearing it also has a print on the front of the mask. A red hand, the same as the "Don't Walk" symbol on the street signs at the crosswalk. The next day, we join twins, Jeremy and Sydney, as they prepare to start their first day at a brand new school. Their dad is walking them there, and they start asking him a lot of questions. Is the school going to have a swim class, or a computer club, or a chess club? Is it going to have a student government? And their dad tells them, in all honesty, I don't know. All I know about this school is that the move was quick, and this was the only school in our district. Their dad recommends maybe this is a good icebreaker. He says maybe this is a good way for you to get to know the kids in your class, to ask these sorts of questions to them. They then get to do the new kid in class thing, the trope of we'll stand up in front of the class and we'll talk. And they start to tell a little bit about themselves, that they're from Brooklyn, that they're twins, and then they draw a dead air and don't know what to say. With one of them then asking, so, do you guys have a computer club? And yeah, it doesn't go well for them. They leave school at the end of the day not really feeling like they got much accomplished, not feeling like much got to happen, and honestly just feeling a bit down on themselves and hating the fact that they have to be the ones to try, when why can't some of their class try and connect with them and help make it easier. They start to make their way towards the crossing guard, and as they're doing that we see their teacher leaving the school and heading to his car, and he is absolutely drunk. He is rambling to himself, having an argument about something with himself. He is completely not with it. And as they begin to cross at the crosswalk, his car starts to speed straight towards them. The crossing guard grabs one of the boys but isn't able to grab the other one, and the car looks like it might be about to hit him when all of a sudden someone picks up the boy and moves him out of the way. The teacher's car flies past them and into a fire hydrant and crashes. And we see that it is once again our white suited hero that picked up the boy and saved him from certain death. And just like before, doesn't say a word. Any sort of connection, just speedwalks off and continues on his way. Shortly after, the police and paramedics do end up on the scene, with Detective Sherwood particularly wanting to speak to the boys and hear what happened from their perspective, which they are all too happy to share with her. The issue ends with the paramedics strapping the boy's teacher to a gurney and taking him to the ambulance. And as we look at the teacher's face, we notice that there's a red mark in his left eye. And when it zooms in on that image, we see that it's a red hand. Overall, I very much enjoyed reading The Pedestrian. Like I said, I hadn't heard about this before I started reading it. I hadn't seen any of the solicitations for it. I had no idea what I was in for. I just heard a couple of comic creators that we know talking about it, and it really intrigued me. I wanted to see what the hype was about it, and I'm not going to lie, when I seen the front cover, I'm like, I really didn't know what I was in for. Is this going to be a spoof of a superhero? Is this going to be a comedy? Is this going to be, drama? Like, I honestly don't know. And I think the story is intriguing enough. I don't know how much of it's going to come up, how much of it I may be overreading, because for the most part it's a very simple story. And I'm intrigued to see how it expands from here. The major thing that we see is the people of Summer City. Kira at the attack when she's at the start, when she's attacked, if I can English properly. We see that taking place when we see James Turner getting found by the cops because of the tip that I'm assuming comes from our man. Him helping the pizza delivery woman to back her car up and then saving the life of the young boy, but doing it all while not saying a word and just power walking around the city, and no one seems to know who he is, and our focus is mostly on the people, and this man just shows up. No idea why he does what he's doing, no idea why he's speed walking everywhere, no idea why he's helping people, why he's wearing the costume he is, why it's got the walk symbol from the crosswalk sign on its chest. We don't know. And I'm really intrigued to see if this becomes a character where we do find out kind of what's going on more with him, or if he is just a mystery. And you know, it made me think of almost like the Tick, where we don't have a secret identity for him, where it's just this is just what he does. But I liked that it was mostly kind of calm and just him helping people, but then we also get the hints that there's something more going on with this other guy in the black costume with the red hand on his face. And then apparently they've infected the teacher and done something to him, and it makes you start to wonder if this, on at least 3 separate occasions, people talked about being stuck in this town. There being a curse, people getting trapped here, they either get out or they get stuck here as if it's like a whirlpool or a black hole just sucking them in, and they feel stuck in this place, that they feel like the system is rigged. And I'm starting to wonder now, is the system rigged? Are things this way? Is it not by chance? Is it there's not a specific reason for it to be, or sorry, there is a specific reason for it to be like that? So I'm very intrigued for issue 2 to see where it goes, to see what answers it's got. I don't even know what questions to fully ask going into issue 2. I also want to comment on the artwork. I think the artwork is absolutely great in this. I think Jean von Gorman done an amazing job. You have no idea how hard it is for me to say his name quickly like that, and I speak quickly. I need to slow myself down. It is so easy for a Scottish accent to stumble over that name. But Shawn von Gorman does a phenomenal job in this book. He does amazing art. Josh Jensen does amazing colours. These are an artist and colourist that I'm not aware of if I've seen their work before. They feel like they're new to me. Same with the writing for Joey Esposito. I don't know if I've ever read something he's written before. Nothing that stands out to me. So this is a whole new creative team. Shawn Lee as well, the letter. And I was thoroughly enamored with this book. I really enjoyed this. I'm not someone who wants to keep checking out a series if I'm really not enjoying it and reviewing it and really not enjoying it. But I'm definitely going to be checking out Pedestrian issue 2, and I'm definitely going to check out where this story goes. And honestly, the Pedestrian has made me want to check out more of Magma Comix' stuff to see what other little gems have they got hidden there that we just don't know about, that aren't getting the hype. So I would highly recommend checking out the Pedestrian, getting in on this and seeing what it's like for yourself. If you're interested, by all means go and snag it and get it and check it out and support these amazing creators doing this really intriguing and really interesting take on the superhero book, which in this day and age is very hard to do. But I think that's it for me for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a blast with this book. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about it. Have you checked out The Pedestrian for yourself? Is it something that you want to check out? Is it something that you're very intrigued by? Or is it something that really just sounds like, nah, that's not up my alley? Let us know in the comments down below. Also as well, if you like our content, we do have a Patreon where you can support us. That is, by no means is that a necessity to get our content, but if you want access to our stuff early and to help support the channel, you can head on over there and support us for as low as $2 a month, which we would greatly appreciate. But thank you so much for joining me today. That is everything for now. Hope you all have an amazing day, and remember, it's a good week to be a geek. Take care, and we'll see you all later. Peace.